You know, this whole warning of, your graphics card is compatible with the game, but you don't have the latest drivers. Wonder if that could contribute to any, like, weird lighting things. At least with, like, the water or something. It probably would not be a factor towards, like, the buildings not existing, but would it have anything to do with, like, the white dimension or, weird things with the water? Eh, whatever, I'm not updating anyway, it's funny. Um, let's, boot up the game here. So, I haven't really been streaming a massive ton lately in general. I, I've been streaming this, like, once a week, basically, as new episodes come out. Do we have a game? I don't even have a game in front of me yet. Game capture is still set to that, so we're all good there. And since the last time I streamed this game, I've streamed one other thing. I did one stream of Fire Emblem Binding Blade. I can set up my camera to not be at that weird angle and do the tracking thing here. So why am I not there we go, jeez. So I haven't really been streaming a whole lot of other things, and the reason is mainly because I've been working on a bunch of US taxes recently, and that's been keeping me busy learning how that works because my family usually brings in a whole bunch of tax forms to someone to handle all that kind of stuff because it's complicated and crazy and stuff like that, and it should be simpler. And I thought that my US taxes stuff got figured out then. But I guess not, and it never has been, and now I'm kind of behind on some of that stuff, so I've been trying to sort that out before the IRS comes after me. And you might wonder why I need to file US taxes as a Canadian. Well, it's because one, I'm receiving revenue from the States from Amazon and Google, Twitch and YouTube respectively. And two, I'm still a US citizen. So, as a US citizen, earning income from the States living in Canada, yeah, I am. I kind of got to do some stuff about that. So I might also not. If I'm ever trying to show my inputs, I might just like hold my keyboard up or something like that. I'm probably not gonna do much of like pointing my camera down because I've moved stuff aside here as best I could to give myself space. I might not have as much space as when I normally stream this game because I don't want to be pointing at something that's gonna give people enough information to like impersonate me. Um, so, so there might be less pointing camera at the desk of this stream because it's covered in a bunch of tax and personal files. So don't worry about it. But yeah, let's just see here. Still addicted to Oblivion level 20, and I haven't started the main quest. Oh geez, I've been looking through my my games recently because I've been adding up all my expenses and stuff. Yeah, gonna get the remaster hopefully tomorrow. Nice, nice. Yeah, they still own my soul. You never stop being an American. They continue to own you. Yep, I'm not gonna show it because obviously, but I had to pull out my what is it again? It's social security number. I always get mixed up. Which one is social security? Which one is social insurance? Canada is social insurance number. Which one is social security number? The States is social security. So I had to pull up my social security number that I have. I'm a United States citizen, and somewhere around here I have my social insurance too. Um, which I haven't had to pull out for my taxes. I've just needed to pull out my social security. So I'm not entirely sure if I was just Canadian, if I would need to like file US taxes, or if I just wouldn't, or how that works. But as a US citizen earning revenue from the States, let's not risk it. But yeah, I'm a not dox myself here. I did have to pull out my social security to remind myself if it was social security or social insurance. Anyway, I've been totaling up my purchases over the years across like physical stuff. I'm glad that GameStop keeps a record of that across digital purchases on Steam and other platforms like GOG, which was just like Metal Gear Solid 1, and that was pretty much it. And other places that I got games there's not as clear of a record of, so I've been trying to total up my expenses as best I can. As I'm going around, like, seeing what games I picked up during, like, Steam summer sales, winter sales, stuff like that, I got reminded about how I do own, like, original Oblivion. Where would it be? I guess it'd be, yeah. I own the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Game of the Year edition. You download it for 5.5 gigabytes, but, why would I do that now when there's a, better thingamabob? What was the last thing I was on in the, yeah, you can see me going through my purchases. Look at all the stuff that I got then. I was trying to find Tales of Berseria because I was like, wasn't that a thing that I missed? Hold on, this. How much is this anyway? I remember Mortis telling me the states amount that it was. Okay, yeah, that's a deluxe edition is full priced game here, and then the regular thing is significantly cheaper. It might be a while before I get to it. I want to get to it one day because like this might just be one of, if not the game that I talk about the most from games that I've never actually played before, just because I have like a couple of video essays on its AI and stuff like that. So whenever I'm talking to people about gaming that want to know about like gaming and how AI works and stuff like that, I always talk about Oblivion, but I can't talk about it from a first-hand experience perspective, and I want to change that. So I want to play it, but it's a little bit crazy right now. Master has the same AI as well. Nice. Too bad it's not the original restored Radiant AI that never made it to full release. Too bad it's not that, but hey, as long as it's still the original thing there. But yeah, anyway, while I'm busy doing a whole bunch of stuff, still job hunting and stuff, now figuring out all this tax stuff, I've still got all this, so I'm still trying to get through some stuff here. That was written on February 19th. I only have to do one last stream, but I keep on saying like, it'll be after I shave, and then I keep on having reasons to like keep it on longer. Now there's a Taekwondo festival coming up where apparently I might be at the head table, it sounds like, and I kind of want to have like a beard and look all official like, if so, and so I'm keeping this on until at least May 10th, and then I'm probably gonna take it off or something, I don't know. At this point, maybe I should just finish off Ghost of Tsushima at Megaland. Is what I may as well do. So, but yeah, and if the remaster just plays better, then heck yeah. But if it's gonna be a while before I get to it anyway, I wonder if I should pick it up during, like, a sale. I guess the next one would be, like, Steam Summer Sale. Would it be marked down already if, like, that's only a couple months away? Because I could see myself realistically getting to it, potentially in a couple months, depending on what other stuff I want to get to. I guess the Switch 2 is coming out in, like, a month and a week, which is crazy to think about.
You know what?
And it sounds like I probably have one down no matter what, because my cousin was able to secure 2 pre-orders, and he said I was #1 on his list for if, like, he has an extra to give away. I'm still looking for pre-order opportunities, and I might have some decent chances with the whole, like, Nintendo Online priority that would be given to me as a, you know, someone that meets the requirements and all that, of playing on the Switch for so long and having a membership for so long and all that, so I might still get one secured on my own, but it sounds like no matter what, I might be guaranteed a Switch 2, if you trust Walmart pre-orders. And then stuff coming out with that'll keep me occupied for a little bit. I guess like Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World that I wouldn't mind playing. Speaking of Mario Kart and LAN events, I was going to do, hey look, a coin. I was going to do Mario, mint condition, get 5 coins, I got a Steam achievement. I was going to do a bit of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Waluigi Pinball during the 24-hour Cherry Stream 11. But there wasn't that many people in the stream at the time, and I was like, oh, we'll wait until, like, some more people come in, and, like, the stream is a bit more, like, active, there's more people available to hop in. And then I just got so dang tired anyway, and I just couldn't for the life of me, and I was like, you know what? How about an IOU on, like, a Mario Kart stream with the community? And I just never made good on that. But now with Mario Kart World coming up, I wonder if I should just, like, make good on that with, what the heck? Make good on that, like, as one final Mario Kart 8 Deluxe stream before World comes out. I could maybe do something at Mega LAN or something like that. And then that's, like, a big community LAN thing, and I can, like, posted a little announcement in the Mega LAN Discord being like, hey, we're hopping into Mario Kart 8 if anyone wants to hop in, like, here's the room and stuff, and then, I don't know, is an idea. But anyway, we'll see what stuff is like with Switch 2 coming out. Ooh, yoink. Some stuff. But in terms of already released games that I want to play, like, my first priority is always, like, new releases, like, play them while they're new and stuff like that. Second highest priority is what I call prerequisite games, which are just, like, games I want to play before certain new releases. So, like, Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 that I did before the release of Prime 4, so I can take them in order. Stuff like that. Like, playing Last of Us Part 1 before I play this game, because it just makes more sense to go in order and stuff like that. And then, like, third highest priority is the already released games that aren't really prerequisite things that I just want to get to at some point. In terms of the ones on my mental list of that, I think Oblivion is pretty high up on the priority list of already released games. It's, is up there. There's so much stuff in here, holy crap. I guess it's because it's basically like the beginning of a playthrough. So last time we finished the Ellie section, so now we're gonna have to play like the next... almost all of the rest of the game as Abby, essentially. So it's essentially like a new save file, but same save file. So I guess the game's giving me a whole bunch of stuff because it's early on. After I built up so much stuff as Ellie, I had double-digit bullets in some ammo types in Grounded, which was unreal. Like, I actually had a shit ton of stuff. I can probably figure it out. I was just looking around for stuff to grab. Ooh, and I still didn't have it all. And since the last time that I streamed this, another episode has aired. which I would like to talk about here shortly. What the heck? Fine, give me a hint. Never mind, it's not giving me a hint. Okay. I don't feel like there's as much to talk about with Episode 3. Episode 3 is essentially they just head out. They head out, they start going towards Seattle, and they're on the outskirts of Seattle. Okay, oh, I gotcha. They're on the outskirts of Seattle by the time the episode ends, aka the outskirts of Vancouver. I assume that it wasn't actually Vancouver yet, and it was just like some sort of 3D model recreation in the distance they saw. But once they're actually in the city, then they'll probably be in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And like a shot that they did of the WLF, I would presume is in Vancouver, since I forget what city it was, but one of the ruined cities in Last of Us Season 1, I think like the first main one, was Edmonton, Alberta, I'm pretty sure. Where I live. But now, the ruined city, Seattle, is Vancouver. Because they needed a coastal area, and Vancouver's right on the coast, so they kind of needed that.
That was in retaliation to us shooting those kids.
Okay, but those kids attacked our guys. What would you do?
I could have sworn that this dialogue was in the car before from the first time that I played this.
Not their fault.
And this was something that I was going to comment about when it happened, and I was thinking back on the last stream, and I was like, did I miss it? Am I just dumb? Is that another thing that I wasn't paying enough attention to because I was rambling about too many other things? But, you know, that is very much another instance of the whole theme of this game of, like, perpetuating the cycle of revenge and all that, and always retaliating. Take that, window. But anyway, and in regards to Season 2 of The Last of Us, I had heard that in general, like, most of it was being filmed in BC this time. I meant to look it up. I never actually got around to looking it up. My mom ended up looking it up, though, and ended up telling me about it. So I had thought that maybe Episode 1 and 2 might still be filmed in Alberta, considering Jackson would have been a place in Season 1 that I would have presumed would have been Alberta, since most of Season 1 was shot there. So I thought that maybe Episode 1 and 2 that took place in Jackson would be Alberta as well. And then when they go over to Seattle, that's when they're in BC in terms of real-life location. But apparently that's not the case. Apparently, Jackson is a smaller area somewhere a decent ways outside of Vancouver. I think she said, like, north of Vancouver, something like that. And then the ski lodge was, like, east of Vancouver a decent ways. So in the show, they make it look like the ski lodge and Jackson are right next to one another. Like, you can see Jackson from the ski lodge. But in terms of real-life location, they are several hours drive away from one another. Interestingly enough. So when I saw the mountains around, like, the ski lodge in Jackson, I thought that it might be the Rocky Mountains. But apparently where this was filmed is a decent ways away from the Rockies. Like, maybe it would, oh, there's grass going through the van there. Maybe distantly it would eventually lead in, but it seems like it's more closer to the coast kind of mountains. Is what it apparently is. It's always worth checking, especially at the beginning of a new run here. This might have something, because these usually have things in these games. Hey, a bottle! I already have one. I'm being reminded of how empty my inventory is. I'm really glad I didn't use any bullets during the last encounter. So I thought that was interesting. So it's some of these smaller communities outside of Vancouver that things like Episode 1 and 2, and I guess 3 then, are being filmed in. But then where the main filming is going on for Seattle is Vancouver. I've been to Vancouver a couple of times. It's been several years.
Up here.
I don't know that I'd be able to recognize any areas myself. I don't really know Vancouver super well. I could always drive there if I wanted to take, like, a decent bit of a road trip, but I've only ever gone there by flight. So he gonna go around and open things up, maybe? Or no, he's just gonna drop it down a little bit more. What he's going to do. Yeah, I find that interesting in terms of the filming. It'll be interesting to see, like, the effects in BC.
I'll try to get that door open.
Because I know that, I kept on pressing E there for whatever reason.
Be careful.
Because like I mentioned with my Part 1 playthrough, Season 1 being filmed here actually did a lot for, like, local tourism for a while and a bunch of, like, small Albertan businesses. I don't know if that would be the same in BC. Like, BC is typically already, like, a bigger go-to tourist place than Alberta. Like, if you want to go tour somewhere in Alberta, then maybe you go to, like, Jasper, Banff, and the Rockies, and I don't know, not really much else. Maybe Drumheller. Maybe if you want to go see all the dinosaur fossils and stuff. Anything around here. But like BC, there's so many pretty sites. It can be a very expensive place to live, BC, depending on where you're living.
Long way down.
Yeah,
I did genuinely want to fall because I know that the checkpoints are, you know, pretty generous in this. And I thought it'd be really funny after they said long way down to just like face plant down there. But now the moment's ruined and there's no point going for it anymore. Here, just do that. Now face plant. I can't face plant if I want to. Whee! And then what was it? Like C, the crouch button? Yeah. C.
Okay, Mel. We're in.
All right.
At the door.
Hacker voice, I'm in. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's like a similar kind of effect. But I know in terms of like the main city of Vancouver, that is already like a pretty bustling place, you know? Like you don't really need a show to be filmed there to bring a bunch of people there to see, you know, the place where this was filmed. But like maybe some of the small settlement communities might get some similar attention to the ones that had so here in Alberta. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to like episode 4 and onward to see what they did to Vancouver. Turn it into Seattle here. Of course, having to like add some things in the background, like the iconic tower there, which I don't know what it's called. But the tower thingamabob. Anything else around here? So some things that don't exist in Vancouver had to be added and stuff. Space Needle, is that what it's called? That would probably check out. I keep on looking at that, and my brain, for whatever, like, brain-rotted reason, keeps on wanting to say, like, the CN Tower is the way that my brain keeps on going for whatever reason. And I was like, no, that is Eastern Canada here. This is not Toronto. Nope, nothing else around here. I see a big tower, and that's just, like, the first thing I think of. Oh, this is, like, another puzzle segment, if I remember. Scraps and stuff. So I think after we dealt with, like, the Zambos last time, the game just kind of starts you out easy with solving some puzzles and getting by while they talk about the Seraphites. That is one of the positive changes that I can talk about. I know I've been talking about a whole bunch of other things before talking about episode 3 here. But talking about episode 3, that's one of the things that I feel like the show does better. Well, first and foremost, is the show still better than the game in episode 3? I would argue yes, still. In the field, find 12 workbenches, I got a Steam achievement. Oh, I have 86 scraps. Hold on. I have the 2 things right now. 4 times scope, maybe. Burst fire, who cares? Capacity, who cares? Stability, maybe. Hold on, the pistol here. Because I'll probably use this as like my go-to panic option for a while. Not fire rate and grounded stability, maybe. Maybe. Recoil, maybe. The accuracy, I don't really care about the recoil part. I care more so about the accuracy part. Capacity, who cares? Like I'm ever gonna fill this thing as is. Well, I did as Ellie, so I mean, maybe I will because I just play grounded, conserving so many resources. I'll probably use the pistol more than the rifle anyway, so it might make more sense to upgrade the stability there. Maybe. So it takes 50 scraps with both. More magazine capacity. Who cares? I'm freaking grounded. How many bullets do you think I'm gonna get here? Yeah, the scope that I never got is Ellie. I don't care about the fire rate here. The thing that I'm probably gonna use more often is the pistol. I should probably have this on as my default option first, just because I have more bullets. But like, which one do I increase the stability on? Hold on. Whoops, I keep on hitting escape too many times. It sucks that, you know, it's the back option, but it's also the menu option. You don't have that issue on controller where it's like you're hitting circle a bunch of times just to back out. You don't accidentally pause the game because it's a separate button, but the same button on PC. That is not very much weapon sway. How about the pistol? That is much more weapon sway. Like, significantly more. And if I'm moving... Yeah, that's pretty huge. If I'm moving with this... Yeah, it's something, but it's, like, nothing in comparison. I'm fixing the stability on this pistol. And it does make sense. Like, you would have a lot better accuracy with, like, your two-handed rifle here rather than the little pistol. Unless I guess you've got, like, 2 hands on it looking straight down or something or other. I don't know. I almost did fire rate by accident because I just turned off my brain for a second there. Stability, please. That sounds good to me. Imagine I put fire rate on ungrounded by accident. I would reload my checkpoint so fast. Hope that it wouldn't lock me in. I'd be so mad if it did. Ooh, I can improve the recoil now. Yeah, let's not bother with that. So, anyway, with the game here, the Seraphites, you see them in Ellie's story, but you don't really know who they are. They're just kind of a faction that you have to get past sometimes. So, like, you encounter them, and you know that they seem to be enemies of the WLF. Like, these guys don't like one another. This isn't going to open. I'm going to have to solve a puzzle. I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it does open, but us two need to do stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah, crank broke.
What now?
Find another way around. By going up and around.
Manny, just hang tight.
And it's really only in Abby's story in the game that you really find out who the Seraphites are as we're starting her story. And, you know, these guys are talking about how we kind of have it out for one another, going after one another, and there have been attempts at peace, but one side or the other ends up stirring up trouble because they got pissed off at the other side for a reason or another.
I wasn't avoiding you.
They keep wanting to kill one another.
I don't know. I guess I was shook by Jackson too.
You don't think Joel deserved what he got?
Yeah, well, you didn't really show it in the game, but you definitely showed it in the show.
I get it. What kind of a person could do that, right?
I'm not saying that.
Let's see if there's a way to the hatch.
All right.
Yeah, so before I get too carried away with episode 3, because the game is just now touching on it. Again, with the show, the other characters, when Abby was, you know, beating the shit out of Joel, the other characters actually look like, oh god, like, I don't want to look at this. This is too much. Like, she's got to stop, and Owen's trying to get her to stop and stuff. Up this way.
Okay.
Whereas in the game, the other characters are kind of just looking at what's going on, like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, Abby's story, characters like Mellors saying that they were really shook by Jackson. It's like, okay, well, maybe in storytelling you could show, not tell. But,
Getting us out of here?
but what do I know?
Okay, just go slow.
Yeah, Abby should have done that.
Being pregnant, low center of gravity.
I'll take your word for it.
But anyway, with the Seraphites, you just kind of encounter them towards the end of Ellie's story. You know that they're enemies with the WLF. And you don't really know much more than that. That's all you really get in Ellie's story. You have to wait to play Abby's story to actually get to know who the Seraphites are. The Seraphites are introduced in episode 3 of the show, interestingly enough. So before Ellie and Dina even reach Seattle proper. So right towards the beginning of the episode, you have like a group of Seraphites that are trekking out together. And I feel like it's done really well in the show for showing like what their main kind of motivation is. Like, the game keeps on making you think for a while that they're like pretty bloodthirsty fiends themselves, and like they're just as bad as the WLF, and just everyone on both sides are just these terrible guys out to get one another. But the show immediately starts portraying them as like, hey, we just kind of want to be on our own and minding our own business and safe from those WLF assholes. So the show starts out with like a large group of Seraphites that are trekking out seemingly for safety to get away from the WLF. And how they portray that they are seeking distance to get away from the WLF is this little girl that is chatting with like one of the main guys at the front that's presumably like her dad or something like that, is chatting with him about safety or something or other. I watched this like a couple days ago. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. But, and talking about like the weapons and stuff, and the big Seraphite daddy-o is like, hey,
Getting closer to the hatch.
I keep these weapons to keep us safe. Stuff, because there's those that would threaten us. So I keep things like this hammer. And the little girl's like, can I have the hammer? Or can I have a hammer or a weapon? And the guy's like, okay, here you go. And he hands her a hammer. And, how do I place this down again? Oh, here we go. And he asks, like, do you feel safer? And the little girl's like, yep.
Hey.
And she's, you know, carrying the hammer and, you know, proud to have, like, her own weapon and stuff there to defend herself if need be. But he has a really good line about how, like, while he may have just given her the hammer, he's currently in the process of giving her something
Yeah.
like much greater in terms of safety than the hammer will ever be able to do. Distance.
Everybody's got their obsession.
So that
Yeah, like me and dog toys.
Yup. And me with my stupid coins.
it's like Ellie has the cards, Abby has the coins. I forget where I throw this. I know I throw it somewhere over there. Gosh dang it, it fell this way.
Catwalk running to the hatch.
So like that line about like, you know, keeping yourself safe with your weapons, but I'm giving you something like much more monumental in terms of safety than that hammer can ever do, being distance. It's like, ooh, that is very telling there. And immediately after he says that, there is like a whistle from the person that is like kind of scouting way far behind, because like the Seraphites do their whistling, and the whole group, like with seemingly like at least the one child, it seems like there's a couple elderly people there, and you know, just a group that isn't gonna be like very heavily armed and able to defend themselves super well. David versus Goliath, guerrilla warfare. Get a new upgrade branch. They all turn like, oh no, what is it? And the two guys, like the guy at the front of the group there and the guy that's trailing way behind, are whistling to one another here. Did I unlock a thing? I wasn't paying attention to what I just got with that. Oh, craft ships. Whatever. I don't care. And as they're whistling back and forth to communicate that way, the guy at the front of their group is like, hey, let's all go for covers, like hide in the bushes and try to not be seen. And the little girl asks him, is it demons? Since that's what the Seraphites in the game call the zombies, the infected there. And the guy says no, wolves. And like it cuts, you don't get to see what happens at first. And then you have like the whole episode play out with Ellie and Dina and Jackson, and eventually the episode ends with them like on the outskirts of Seattle. I need to remember how I do this. I think I might have needed to Google this back when. Let's see if I can figure out how to do it this time. But at the end of the episode, as they're approaching, they see that there is some stuff going on. I think that they see like one dead Seraphite, wondering what that symbol is. Dina goes into the bushes to see what's over there and comes back puking. So Ellie goes over to see what happened there. And all of the Seraphites there are killed, including like the little girl that you saw right at the beginning there. And since you as the audience know that it was the wolves, the WLF that did that sought out these guys that were purely just trying to get distance from them so that they could live in peace, be on their own, and like this was not a group of Seraphites that was there to screw up the WLF. They were a group that was trying to get away clearly and was sought out and killed. It very much portrays the WLF as like really, really bad dudes, is what episode 3 does. So I like that there's an introduction of the Seraphites, and it initially portrays them as like, hey, we just kind of want to mind our own business and get away from you assholes. It's very much episode 3 portrays them as. And maybe the Seraphites will have like a stronger presence in Ellie's story, considering Ellie's story will probably be all of season 2, and then they'll probably do friggin' wow, let's see here. This sounds familiar. And I'll probably do Abby's story for season 3 if they're doing that whole 2 seasons for this game thing. Which at this point I can see it. If they haven't even reached Seattle yet, like if they're about to reach Seattle at like the beginning of episode 4 and there's only like 7 episodes in the season, yeah, it would check out them needing to do like 2 seasons to cover it.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then, oh yeah, and then I climb up here. Ah, member. So there is still some mystery about like who the Seraphites are, but you do have like a much better idea before you've even reached Seattle.
Especially when I look down.
And like what the dynamic is between them and the WLF, rather than just Ellie's story, which is like, surprise, here's another faction, they're enemies of the WLF, but hey, both these sides are just like super screwed up and stuff. Like we actually get a little bit more with the show earlier on, and I like that.